My antibodies for my thyroids are off the charts when I started the program, as they are with most Hashimoto's patients, but they were significantly high, like up in the thousands. So that was something that really pushed me to, sign on for the program and do something to seriously address those, because I know from my own Google research and from working with you what antibodies at that level can do. So I had very, very high IgG score or IgG measurement for Epstein-Barr. And then it also came back that I had cytomegalovirus, HHV6, and parvovirus, getting tested for the viruses, and then finding out that I had definitely significantly have reactivated EBV, and then at a lower level, a few of those other viruses. I just was struggling. I didn't feel like anything that they were giving me was helping. If anything, it was hindering my health. I just continued to get worse. My anxiety was off the charts, especially with being in grad school part-time and working. It never sat well with me. And it wasn't until I started to do my own research that I realized I wasn't just going to accept the fact that my body was attacking me for no reason. And that's when I started to look for alternative approaches. And then I came across your Instagram, I believe, actually an Instagram post that talked about it. So
what made you motivated to even reach out?
Initially, so you're very blunt, which is interesting. Yeah, but it was interesting to see you spell out, like I think you mentioned like the victimization piece. And although I would never, I don't know, it was a painstaking process for me at one point in time to admit that I was enjoying being the victim in certain situations. I mean, we all grew up with our own demons from childhood, and I very much lived my parents had incredibly high expectations for me, which I was able, thankfully, to hit in most areas, especially academically. But I felt, that kind of planted a seed in me that like, you never are good enough and you need to constantly try. And so when I was given the label of sick, which I hate now, I don't like being called sick, and that got me some sympathy and got me a little leeway where otherwise I was expected to be perfect. I got a little bit addicted to that, not just the sympathy and the attention, but also to the fact that it gave me room to breathe and not have to meet these ridiculous perfectionist standards that I had. And so addressing those was a huge part of my issue. I mean, I say address those as if I'm completely over it. That's not true. I'm still very much working on my people-pleasing perfectionist tendencies. I'm an overachiever and recovering from that. And I don't know. I think the fact that that was brought up, because so many times you think that the autoimmune issues are strictly physical, and that's just not true. So I think what stood out was the fact that you called out the certain emotional and mental issues that are directly related to autoimmunity, and how if you don't address the underlying issues, especially stress, and just, low self-esteem, that would lead you to even enjoying being in that victim role in the first place. I say what I would look forward to the most was, obviously, I think like we heal in community more than we heal on our own. So being able to speak with other women dealing with Hashimoto's. As I learned quickly, I wasn't the only one who had a laundry list of other autoimmune issues. So there was quite a few people in the group that also had multiple diseases. And it was nice to find a space to connect with them. And then I've also come across a lot of groups online that, although I completely understand everyone's need to vent, and it's very difficult. I know I used to suffer alone because I didn't know how to connect or find other people that were dealing with similar things. I mean, when I was in college, Facebook didn't come out till my freshman or sophomore year, and it wasn't used for years for anything other than finding your friends in college. So there wasn't really an online forum where you could go and find and connect with people. And then once I did start finding them when I was older, a lot of them, it seemed to just kind of be a venting session. And although, again, I understand people needing to get things off their chest, I didn't want it to turn into, let me tell you how horrible my Raynaud's symptoms were today and how I used to love downhill skiing when I was a kid and now I can't do it. I just try not to focus on that side of it. I think that just perpetuates the problem. So it was nice to find a space with a group that was looking for ways to heal and being supportive and not, letting it turn into something that could be potentially toxic. Yeah, I noticed slow and steady improvements, which I think makes sense, given that I've had these issues for 2/3 of my life at this point. I wasn't expecting to wake up tomorrow and be great, but it's been slow and steady So I'm hoping if I stay the course, that I'll continue to see, improvements day to day. But I definitely do notice a difference. My antibodies went from about 1,200 so far to I want to say 48. I guess how I would describe it, it's like having a comfortable place, but also one that holds you very accountable for sticking to the changes that you need to make in order to move towards a place of healing. And it is one where you do get support. It just gives you access to obviously your expertise, and in which case you're able to offer recommendation things that are super helpful for your specific case. And then you also have that community of other women who really do understand and will connect with you and will tell you what's worked for them. And then it feels really great to be able to give back, like I was in that one case, to share my experience with someone else.
What would you say to somebody who's been struggling with Hashimoto's for as long as you have, right? And really is on the edge of pretty much throwing in the towel and giving up?
Um, well, first and foremost, I would, if they haven't been exposed to the information or had the testing I've had yet, to tell them that again, it's not an anomaly. Your body didn't just wake up tomorrow and decide to attack you. I
Mhm.
think that if more people were aware of that, that it would make a dramatic difference in people's motivation to make a change. It's really easy to get a defeatist attitude when you basically feel like there's nothing you can do, and you're just going to suffer the rest of your life, because I've been there and I know exactly what it feels like. And it takes a massive mental and emotional toll. It affects your relationships, it affects your work ethic, it affects everything. And I would just hope that if someone is a it's easy to say I've tried everything, nothing works. Well, if you are looking at this right now and you haven't tried anything like this, then that's a lie. So now that you have, the people that have gone through Thyroid Revive that are interviewing with you right now to share their information. I can speak from experience of having, like I said, I'm 33 now, so 21 years of autoimmunity, and I've actually put a dent in, for lack of a better term, a lot of my symptoms and a lot of my lab results that have not budged for many years. So I guess what I would pose to someone who feels like they're giving up was just that, you know, what would possibly be the harm in trying? It's Once you realize that your body really does have your back and there's something you can do to really push yourself towards that healing from a holistic perspective, then I think that it's totally worth taking the risk. And the worst case scenario, you know, you try it. The thing is, I say worst case scenario, you try it and it doesn't work. Something will definitely work out of it. But I just I don't know. I would never be in the mindset, no matter what, no matter how bad it was at some points when I was younger, where I would just throw in the towel. So I would genuinely hope that no one else would get to that point either.